In this video, we want to share with you that you can see the trades developing, and as we mentioned in the statement above, that you can look through the windows like you're shopping, and you're shopping for pips, and you can see the trades set up and develop. So we're on a 15-minute chart, and you notice that I've drawn some vertical lines at certain points. First one was after this big move up. Well, how do you start to trade and know when to start trading coming back down? And when it crossed the zero line, you continue trading short. When it crossed above the zero line, you can start trading long again. On this 15-minute, you can see these things happen. Then the next step is you go to the 5-minute and time your entry. So what you're looking for on the 5-minute is you need to have a fresh color change in the direction that the 15-minute said to go, or a fresh cross. In this case, it was already crossed, so we'd be looking for that color change. In this one, we see another cross right there. This one is already on the right side. So we're just going to do these sell signals, and then we'll look at the buy signals a little bit later. Now, what do you do after that? You look for the 1 minute. On this 1 minute, you need to have a four indicators all the same color. A buy color or a sell color. This is all the sell color. Right there was your exit entry signal. Okay, it went about 19 pips, so we can take about, say, 15 pips out of that one. Then there was another one right here. It went 6 pips, 7 pips, maybe you got 5 pips out of that whole thing. And then another one right here. Now the 5 minutes said it was ready to go right there, as well as the 15, but we need the 1 minute to confirm that. Right here, this went 25 pips, so you got 20 pips out of that one. Okay, the next one is below the 4-bar. We call it a 4-bar one, 4 indicators the same color. And so there's a trade right there. Well, that one went sideways for a while. If you'd gotten in, you could have had 2 or 3 pips draw down on that one. Say you'd gotten out at a break even. Well, here's another entry. There's 2 spots over here where there's entries. Right over here, I went to almost 30 pips, so let's say you got 20 pips out of that. So you got 20 and 20 and 5 and 15, so you're looking at about 60 pips trading that movement down just by staying on one currency pair waiting for the signals to set up. It's not stressful. When they change colors, cross zero lines, then that's when you can know that we'll go to the next step. When the next step matches up, sometimes another 5 or 10 minutes, you can go to the next step, which is a 1 minute. Sometimes it's right on. Sometimes it's another 2, 3, 5 minutes before that step goes up. So the trade is just developing, and you can look in the window and see that happening. Now, this is where a lot of people say, well, I don't know when it's going to change and when it's going to go back the other direction. Let me share this with you. See, when it went across the zero line, and this is all above, that's when you'd be trading long. So let's take these 3 vertical lines. Then we go to the 5 minute. 5 minute has to be fresh across, fresh across. This one wasn't quite, so we had to wait 5 minutes for it. Now we're going to go to the 1 minute. 1 minute has to be a 4-bar on the correct side of that blue moving average. And it went about 15 pips. Let's say you got about 10 pips out of that one. Yeah, there was some more up here, but let's be conservative and say you just got 10 pips out of that. Out of that whole move of 25 pips, you got 10. Then you go to the next one. It was all set up, and it had to be across the line, so I would say this bar right here would be someplace where you'd be starting to get in. You went up 15 pips. Let's say you only took out another 10 pips out of that one as well. Then right here was another one. That one went 16 pips. Let's say you got 10 pips out of that. So we're looking at 10, 20, 30 pips. I'm being conservative because you could have received more out of those. Now, it went up in this area. You could have possibly traded that, but let's say you didn't do it. But you're looking to trade long. And there's a way to tell you're supposed to be trading long. And so right here you had to wait a couple of minutes on this 1 minute chart. And here was it went up 17, 19, almost 20 pips. So let's say you got 15 pips out of that. So not saying you're going to sit there in front of the computer that long, but there's another 45 pips. So let's say that you're just shooting for a few pips a day. You sit down. This is just one currency pair. There are many currency pairs, and they don't all hit at the same exact time. And you can find the trades that are going to work out best for you. And so you're looking, it's like looking through the window, and you're shopping, and you're seeing these things happen. Right now, it looks like, oh, you're seeing it happen in the past. Well, you can tell when these indicators change colors, or when they cross from across the moving average, or they cross across the middle, or we call it the zero line, above or below. Then we showed you that it's not always happen right there at the time the 15-minute hits. Sometimes it's 10, 12 minutes later before the trade actually sets up. The 15 was saying, yes, I'm getting ready. The 5 says, now I'm ready. And the 1 minute says, okay, things are all looking good, and take the trade. So just be sure and sign up for the webinar and the introduction of the amazing strategy that we're talking about here.